Welcome back to Crown Chats and to another bonus edition episode with footage never before seen from previous interviews. And in this bonus edition episode of Crown Chats, we are hearing from actor Paul Greene, as well as podcasters Kat from the KatChat podcast and Eric from Hallmark Mysteries and More. In our first clip with actor Paul Greene, we learned a little bit more about his supplement and health advice.
And so she started Freedom Alchemist, and now we've been coaching people for 6 years, probably had 1,000 plus people, mostly women, come through, and a lot of things come up for during that journey of understanding hormones and how that affects women and also men, but how having a muscle-centric focus can help people stay fit by building muscle. So that's the long answer. But I like feeling good. And a way for me to do that is to move my body every day and lift heavy things so I feel strong. And it's just always been like I always want to be able to move freely and experience freedom in my body. So that actually now as I'm 50, actually takes maintenance and daily routines and things that move my body so that I'm always fit in a certain way. And then it helps that I have a job where I have to stay fit.
Yeah. No, I completely agree 100%. And that is like very much my belief system. My husband and I are both big into, addressing root causes and long-term, doing everything you can now it's like preventative maintenance and management as well. But eliminating certain ingredients from our food and everything we put in and on our body, and obviously just getting outdoors and getting vitamins versus having to take pills and things like that. So I was reading up on that, and I saw you had some good magnesium and things like that I need to. Yeah. That's kind of been my bigger thing, is getting to like collagen and magnesium. So I might be putting in an order for some of that stuff very soon.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, good. I mean, it's important. Nothing beats a good sleep and moving your body every day, drinking lots of water. And having good friends. Like there's no supplement that can beat a night's sleep or being hydrated. But once you got those basics and you're moving every day, then most people are missing magnesium. Most people are missing vitamin D. Yes. And those things help your hormones and your bones and your muscles so much.
Yes.
And then from there, you can start to, very simple. You don't need, once you get the basics down, you don't need thousands of supplements or thousands of drugs to feel good. You have to move your body.
100%. Yeah. And especially when I was postpartum, I was learning more about that too, of like, you can be so depleted in certain things. And magnesium was one that was heavily recommended to take. And then Nikki Deloach and I got talking about creatine and stuff like that when I last saw her. So all the fun stuff. But so thank you for that, because I could talk that stuff for hours, so I don't want to get too caught up.
Yeah, it's fun. No, that stuff's very fun. But like, fortunately, I have a career in acting where I'm always have to be in the best shape. I would be anyway, just because I love feeling good. So.
And in our second clip with actor Paul Greene, we learned why sometimes issues off screen can equal the best chemistry on screen.
And I knew it was food poisoning, but I did just on that off chance that it wasn't. And then you take out your co-star and you're both down. And then we lose 3-4 days of filming because we're both buckled over and whatever. But we're fortunately, and now that scene just turned out so great. But when you look at it, it looks glamorous. But underneath it, I was like twisting in my stomach and like kind of walking funny. like, and I haven't had food poisoning since
talented. It still looks amazing.
What's that?
I said, you're just that talented, though. It just made it look amazing.
Well, external forces and challenges usually make things better, not worse. So like you hear people had the worst chemistry off camera, on camera. Sometimes they have the best chemistry. What you see on the camera that's interesting is just when there's often something else going on. And so whether there's an external thing happening in the actor's life, but somehow it comes through with what they're saying, or they're rushing to beat the sunset and everyone's amped up and it sometimes comes through. It's often when things are too easy, then it's easy to get comfortable, which usually ends up in not a good performance. But when you're really have something that you're fighting against, it sometimes comes across as interesting.
And in our next clip, we have podcaster Eric Rutin from Hallmark Mysteries and More. Eric and I go into a deeper discussion about Brooke Dorsey, one of our favorite actresses, and why her mystery series, Crimes of Fashion, should continue on.
But they're at least, a little more believable in that aspect. So that's where I think Hallmark has really pushed doing it. Plus, they've just given us some really good characters with some actors who we really like. And they just have to get back to, like I say, showing us some more of them.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if you were a fan. I actually liked Crimes of Fashion, and that was one that
loved it.
Darker, and we saw like dead bodies, and I'm a huge Brooke Dorsey fan, so I'm probably biased. But that is one too. Like I'm like, when are we we just found out we're getting another Haunted Harmony mystery with Tamara, excuse me.
Right. We may be getting 3.
So, yes, that's right. But so I'm happy that that's continuing, but I'm still waiting on Crimes of Fashion because it was just a fun, dark play, and you could take that in multiple cities. But I just thought that was a cool way to finally see Brooke. I think she's extremely talented, and so I don't know where the fashion psychologist necessarily has a huge story, but it's intriguing enough that I want more of it. I want to see it more developed. So I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that.
I have a question for you though.
Okay.
Who's not a Brooke Dorsey fan?
Right?
Right?
Who doesn't love her?
She is adorable.
Yeah.
She's a really good actress.
One of the reasons
nobody does an updo like Brooke Dorsey.
Yeah. I've been a fan of hers since like Royal Pains and 2.5 Men. So like she's one of the reasons I fell in love with Hallmark and some of her early movies. And so I was just like, I'm finally just excited to see her beyond, the cheerful Christmas movies. I'm like, yes, this is the Brooke I want. So.
And one of the exciting things is Jeff Beasley is just recently directed her in Follow Yonder Star.
Yes.
And then he did something with her years ago. Mm-hmm. And he said she is genuinely one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. And he's like, if I only had to work with Brooke for the rest of my career, I wouldn't complain. She's that good.
Yeah.
So
I was fortunate enough to meet her at Christmas Con last summer. And like the first thing she did, I was kind of a little nervous. And first thing she did was like complimented what I was wearing, was like asking where my outfit was from. And I'm like, let's go shopping, please. Let's be best friends. So,
but by the way,
can't wait to see where, what she continues to do. But yes, where the mysteries go. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for that one.
You referenced, Crimes of Fashion. And that's one too, which had a really good writing team to it. And it was something really different, something, you don't see. And it wasn't like some of them like, oh, we want to be different and they're kind of corny. But that one was intriguing. And the fashion psychologist, like where would it go? But you could Milan, New York, like there's many cities you could go, and fashion's just interesting. So, And they made that movie too. I thought, we all know Hallmark budgets are not the biggest, but I thought going into high fashion, they did a pretty good job of at least making it seem that way, because sometimes when you go into some of the movies and they have to look that way, you're just like, no, I know that costume designer is really trying, but when you give them like $17 and a gift card to Ross, it's just not going to cut it, right? And they did a fantastic job in that movie. Plus he had the rat wrangler with Brooke. Oh my gosh. So
Yes.
And in our last clip, we have Kat from the KatChat podcast talking about her favorite Christmas Con interactions and memories.
So again, with Christmas Con, obviously that's a top memory, hard to beat. However, do you have some other memories or top moments that you've had from either Christmas Con or Rama Drama, any of those that you've attended that really stand out to you?
I have 3 because I can't. Because I died from tired. I have 3. So the first memory was my coach and I. It was her idea. We planned to do like a fun photo op with Paul Campbell, who is known as Arlington Kate from the Mystery of Kate Lane and all. The Clint had an opportunity to order everything because my idea, we're going to do the photo shoot, do it with me. I'm like, no problem. So we had a shirt with like Paul Campbell character from the Cases of Mystery Lane. Yeah. And we had the glasses, and then we had the little potato, fake mustache. So I am so thankful for that. And one part, he was, oh my God, I loved it. Oh, I get a glasses, I get a mustache too. This is like my favorite photo op. But so that one memory, I was a quit. We did it, a fun photo op with Arden Cake. Paul Campbell. So that was one. Another memory I would have to say, BJ Britt. I mean, after watching him on screen with the groomsmen, I'm like, please, for the love of God, come to Christmas time. No, although we lost Jonathan Bennett, hopefully he will come this year, so I can have my opportunity with all three of them. Even though the Jonathan Bennett flat was a disgust. So I met BJ, and I was like, hey, he was like, I see you. And I'm telling you, if you ever go to Christmas Con at some point, or the Hallmark cruise, or Kansas City Hallmark Christmas Fair, go to BJ with. He gives the world top hug. It betrayed him and Tyler when it comes to hug. He is the hugger. And he is so funny, so charismatic, full of energy, so much fun. My last memory will be meeting Kimberly Dutton. I mean, I wanted to talk to her just about the movie Santa Claus because she was amazing in it, and how I appreciate her writing. Her writing scripts with Hallmark movies with Paul Campbell, especially Christmas at Starlight, one of my favorite movies. And I had an opportunity to have her on my podcast a couple of weeks ago. We wanted to keep going. I'm like, maybe we will set up a part 2 where you can ask me any question. No problem. But she's very genuine. She's very smart. She's very driven, talented. So I really appreciated her and her talent, sharing out her perspective, writing a script, being in front of the camera, and how her acting had progressed. So those are probably my top 3 favorite moments aside from being in Thailand 24/7 with all my beautiful handies.
I love those. Those are hard to beat, and I completely agree. I think it was a consensus that BJ Britt gave the best hugs. So I saw people literally going back to his line just to get hugs again. So I think Tyler officially lost his title as the best hugger. So we'll see who wins this next year. But
I have a hugging contest. I couldn't
yes.
I just I rate them. But
Yes.
1 through, 20.
I don't think anyone would be upset with having to test out that kind of a contest. So
Oh no.
And that wraps up another episode of Bonus Edition Crown Chats. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have so many exciting guests coming in the next few weeks, so you don't want to miss out on all the fun. So please be sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, and of course follow me, Haley, at Crown the Halls on Instagram. And don't forget, we have new sweet summer and all year-round styles of Crown Chats merch. You can find that in the link in this YouTube bio as well as in my Instagram profile. So until next time, wear your crown. Your crown may tilt, may it never fall, but you are beautiful and you are strong.